Yo guys, how's it going? Justin here, back again to bring you another World of Warcraft related video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Bolvar Fordragon and his possible appearance in Legion. Now, a lot of people may say, what the hell, why would Bolvar just randomly show up in a Burning Legion centered expansion? Isn't enough shit already going on, what with the Burning Legion invasion, Illidan's return, Gul'dan lurking about, and the threat of Xavius and the Emerald Nightmare, and a whole bunch of other hectic chaos that is ensuing? Why now, why this expansion? Well, he isn't going to actually play a huge role in the expansion at all. Just go ahead and take a look at this video.
Hello, I'm Evan, representing Bone Chewer. Anyone out there, Bone Chewer? Anyway, so my question is, what do you plan to do with Bolvar Fordragon in the future? Is he going to be in this expansion, or is he going to get his own gig? What's up?
Well, that's a great question. I will say this. This expansion in Legion, there's going to be a little cameo. We'll see Bolvar somewhere, probably the Frozen Throne, I guess. And absolutely, in the future, beyond this expansion, we've been talking about it, so we'll see.
So for those of you guys who don't know, that is a question asked at the 2015 BlizzCon WoW Q&A panel, and as stated, Bolvar Fordragon will make a cameo, or in other words, a short appearance in Legion. Whether it be an in-game whisper that we may hear across the world of Azeroth, or a little hint that we may find during one of the quests, maybe Death Knights will see him when they obtain their legendary weapon, or maybe we will see a small peek of the Frozen Throne during Legion's end cinematic, we don't know. All we know right now at this very moment is that he and the Scourge might be making an appearance in the future expansion following Legion. Now, what Blizzard has been doing ever since MOP, or more specifically at the end of Mists of Pandaria, is that they like their expansion's plot and storyline to lead into the story of the following expansion. Such as Garrosh in Mists of Pandaria escaping with the help of Karastormu back in time in order to construct the Iron Horde alongside his father Grommash Hellscream. Following up on the very few events of Warlords of Draenor, we see Gul'dan being teleported by Archimonde after the Defiler was defeated in Hellfire Citadel, which will lead to the upcoming events of Legion. As he says in response to the young man's question, he answers by saying that not only will we see a little hint of Bolvar's presence in Legion, but he also could get his own expansion following Legion, or following the expansion that takes place after Legion. Who knows? It is far too soon to tell. I mean, like, there's like fucking 10 months till Legion comes out to think about what the next expansion might be after this upcoming expansion. So that's pretty much fucking batshit crazy to be thinking about that. Now here, in my eyes, is what can possibly happen. In the past, on some of my top 10 videos, I have said that it would be totally cool if Bolvar came back with his Scourge Armada under his command in order to aid us against the unending legions of Sargeras' army. Now, Blizzard didn't do this, so I was wrong, which means that there are tons of other ways that Fordragon could come back in the future. Before I say anything, however, I want to go over a few key lore points with the Lich King. In the novel, Arthas Rise of the Lich King by Christie, we are informed that Arthas basically fucked up Ner'zhul and destroyed the remaining good that was in him by plunging Frostborn into their spirits and entities while he was in his dream state, which left him as the dominant figure within the Avatar. However, this is contradicted by numerous lines of dialogue in Wrath of the Lich King. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go over all of them, but I will go over some of them. The first one is a line that the Lich King says in the Howling Ford.
Shamanism has brought you here. Its scent permeates the air. I was once a shaman.
I was once a shaman. Note that he says I was once a shaman, not that Ner'zhul was once a shaman, but that I was once a shaman. Arthas was never a shaman, which means that that had to have been Ner'zhul who said that line, which means that his spirit is still alive and intact within the Avatar, at least in the in-game perspective. In the novel, it clearly says that Arthas killed the spirit or consumed it or whatever, so Ner'zhul's dead. Now, in the Halls of Reflection, Uther says that he believes that whatever remaining piece of Arthas that is left is keeping the Scourge at bay, for without control of their master, the Scourge would run rampant over Azeroth, consuming all that lived. This actually makes sense, because if you look at it critically, why would a faction be stronger without a leader? With the Lich King at their command, they are struggling to stand their ground against the Northrend counteroffensive, but when the Lich King dies, according to Uther, they will watch over the land, somehow becoming incredibly feral, and somehow overpowering the living and being able to consume Azeroth. Why would they not be able to do this with their Commander-in-Chief already alive and leading them? Easy, because that Commander-in-Chief doesn't want them to. Arthas is stopping them. This is all based on the dialogue that was given to us in the game, guys. This is not my opinion. This is literally what was given to us by Blizzard to critically think about. So I'm trying to play both sides of the fence here in order to satisfy both those of you guys who strictly follow the lore of the novel and those of you guys who want to believe the in-game lore. Now, I got 2 predictions so far on what can happen with future Bolvar. First one is for those of you guys who follow the lore of the book. Ner'zhul's dead, which means Bolvar is in complete control of the undead legions. He will awake in a time where we will desperately need the aid of both his army and perhaps even those of greater strength from greater sources in order to fight a great enemy. Maybe the old gods, Sargeras, or something of the same magnitude. At this time, he and his undead legions will aid us in vanquishing this enemy, and together with the Scourge and various other forces aiding us, we can overcome whatever threat that it may be. Another prediction is for those of you guys who choose to follow the lore of the in-game dialogue. Ner'zhul is still alive, which means he can still muster enough power to corrupt Bolvar. Something happens near the end of Legion that causes a disturbance in the Frozen Throne, which awakes him. During Cataclysm, MOP, WOD, and Legion, Ner'zhul is constantly whispering to Bolvar, telling him dirty sexyful things, which corrupts him and turns him into a Lich King like that of the one before him, and we are forced to confront him and his Scourge legions. But during the expansion, something will change dramatically. Like in WOD, how the threat of the Iron Horde was suddenly replaced with the threat of the Fell Horde, I believe that the Scourge will not be the final antagonist that we will have to deal with if this comes true. First off, Bolvar has one of the strongest willpowers within every character in World of Warcraft. He was able to withstand Arthas tormenting him until we were able to rescue him at the Frozen Throne, so he could potentially come to his senses during the middle of his war with us. Maybe Darien or Tyrion Fordring brings him back to the light, he sees that he fucked up, and we team up after in order to quell the threat of another enemy that we may have to deal with, which will lead to another expansion after the one initially centered around Bolvar. Also, it seems highly unlikely that Blizzard will retrace their footsteps and carry out another expansion that is pretty much the exact same thing as Wrath of the Lich King, but now Bolvar is the one behind the helmet. So what do you guys think? Are these predictions close to what you are all thinking, or am I a fucking idiot? Perhaps you have different thoughts and better predictions. It's 4 AM right now, so I'd gladly bet a hobo's left testicle that there is bound to be one comment down below that has a prediction that should have been in this video but that I didn't think of because I'm freaking tired. Whatever your guys' thoughts are, I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, have a good one. Enjoy your 10 months before the arrival of Legion, and please post what you think is going to happen in the comment section below.